So, as a first generation immigrant, I've always been interested in others like me, those whose parents immigrated and ended up here in the US to find a better life. I love hearing their stories, the success, the reasons why they even are here, how they ended up getting here. I love hearing their failures and even the corrections that they made to get back straight. So, in this particular episode, I recently had the pleasure of sitting with fellow Pinoy who was a recommended interview to me because I was told he gets indoors and events, and I don't know how he does it. And I mean, after hearing something like that, of course, I had to have him on. His name is Chris Wycoco, and he went from door to door sales at the age of 14 years old to a CEO of his own financial tax consulting company. Uh, the rest of the interview kind of like plays itself out. Very impressive person, and the tax consulting company. It's only his day job. Wait till you find out what else he does, his accolades, and also the reason why he even got into it. Check this out.
Cold Rice Media.
Hi everyone, thanks again for joining WuzGood podcast. I'm glad that this day finally came because I've been wanting to get together with Chris this whole time, and he's the gentleman that's on the screen here. Chris is he was introduced to me by the PACE group here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Filipino American Community Endeavors team. They're also in charge of putting together the Lone Star Palenque that is going to be happening later on this year. But they had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I think somebody interesting that would probably be on your podcast is this individual here that we've got in front of us. His name is Chris Wycoco, okay, and he is the CEO of WycoTax, which is a virtual accounting and wealth planning solutions. But that's just kind of just his label at this point. But at the same time, he definitely comes with a lot more of a background and also what we're going to unpack a little bit later on here. You're going to learn and see what he does currently. I mean, there's the day, and then there's the evening, and there's the weekend. So yeah, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, Raymond. Thank you for this opportunity to really have the one-on-one interview for at this point. I'm Chris Wycoco. I'm a Filipino American here in the US, in Texas specifically. I got here 2010, and then I came here because I'm an operating room nurse. Yeah, we finished Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I mean, that's the fastest way to go in the US from the Philippines. But then again, way back when I was 14 years old, I started selling, helping my family to pay for the rehabilitation because I have a twin brother. He suffered schizophrenia since 14 years old. So that's why I help financially. So that's why I've been selling since I was 14. But then again, my parents told me that you need to be in the US, Chris, and that's you want to pursue your career, go to the US, but become a nurse, enable for you to get there faster. So that's why I still finish with my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing with full scholarship. Also with the city and governor, they do have this scholarship program on top of the university. So we did really hard to be here. But then again, when I got here, since it's already been part of me to have my own source of income without relying to the job, I've been selling door to door when I was in the operating room nurse. Way back in Brownsville, Texas, that's where I resided for 13 years. Then after operating room hours, like 3 p.m., I always requested the doctors if I can sell to their houses. That's where the turning point of my life, when on December 2010, I got introduced by an accountant. He is one of the friends of the doctors during the home party. And then from 2010, 11 until 2014, we entered in a business partnership for running an accounting company. Now, in 2015, I bought him out from the partnership. That's why we are here doing accounting and then wealth planning service solution virtually in United States.
Okay, so that was primarily over in South Texas. I think he said Brownsville, and I think this is around the Corpus Christi area. When did you? So I know you ended up in Cali at one point.
California.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what happened? So what happened was because we've been going out there and networking. I They noticed my Facebook and all this social media because we have this extensive presence on different social media as more like we're providing contents about business. We're providing contents about life of a Filipino American immigrant. They noticed me that I have the natural ability to do hosting. So that's why they invited me to some concerts like beauty pageants, Miss
Hmm.
Earth, and then also concerts. One of the famous singers. So we've been traveling interstates to do hosting in return to market my company WycoTax. So we that's why we I was in California. That was yeah, I was in California multiple times.
Okay. Okay. And
Mhm.
before we move on, I want to make sure that I want to make sure that we go over your accolades here. I mean, because 2022 was a huge year for you. And it was, I mean, you had business person of the year, and I got a little notes here just to make sure I don't mess this up. Business person of the
Mhm.
year with regards to small business administration, that was in South Texas. And
Oh
then also
yes.
correct. And then also in Hollywood in California, there's this it's Gawad America. They
Hmm.
have it's basically a foundation that when it's a competition basically for business, arts, and culture, and um they award people with awards just because of just enrichment and everything. And you received an award for outstanding entrepreneur, and that was also in 2022.
Hmm.
And previous to that, and I know, I'm assuming sprinkled within that is you've had like several congressional recognitions through Congress and Senate. I mean, so you're definitely built up and you're building still at the same time, because it seems like you're just kind of building on top of what you were a nurse person. I
Yes.
can't believe this. Nurse initially, accountant, and then you an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, that path. I mean, kind of just walk me throughout the whole thing, because I'm trying to pick up a few tips here and there.
Yeah. I'm more as a profession. I'm more like a tax strategist for 11 years, but I'm an entrepreneur that hire accountants. That's virtually. That's what we did. The starting point of all these recognitions was way back 2018. I forgot to mention, Raymond, that we
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
started to be recognized as the minority business of the year on 2018 on South Texas. So what it does, or what for you to win that award, there are following factors that they're looking at: employment. So you need to have employee that you're hiring every now and then. Number two is also you have educational contribution in terms of education, learning, providing training on how to start a business and how to scale up your business. They're looking on that. You need to have some recommendations from the Chamber of Commerce, SBA,
Wow.
all of this Economic Development Corporation from here, Texas. And also, we went through all the way to Silicon Valley. And then the third one is your business should be scaling up in terms of net profit. We're not talking about just sales, whether you're making 1 million, but if you have a 1.5 million loss, that's not really promoting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
scaling up your business. We're talking about net profit, where they need to your sales should or business should have an increasing net profit where you're not losing money. So those are the primary three major qualifications or factors they're looking at for you to qualify. And hopefully, I mean, 2018 we competed to more than 15 cities, and there's like more than 500 businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Then now I have to wait. The 2018, when I got that award, I got interviewed all the way from Washington D.C. The previous administration or director, we call her name is Linda McMahon. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you know her. So Linda McMahon, she one of the millionaires here in the U.S. We had a one-on-one interview to talk about the impulse of the business community, especially the minority in South Texas. And then after that, we have to wait for 3 years because I cannot be nominated within 3 year period time for the business person of the year, which also have the same category. Being a servant leader where you teach Filipinos or people that would like to start a business in general,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then promoting employment. We have one location on 2015, then expanded to four, but now we are now 100% virtual. and then the 2022 was also the highlight, and that's where the time that I was able to have my own building, commercial building. It's sitting right 20 minutes away from SpaceX of Elon Musk. That
Okay.
yeah, because the Brownsville is well known because of Elon Musk SpaceX. So that's why I invested on commercial real estate. And right now we have tenant, but then again, whatever opportunity with that building can create, it's another asset that we have because of our business journey in the US.
So when you started with basically working on business solutions and helping entrepreneurs, basically get going, was it primarily the Filipino community, or was it more just like whoever's ready to to learn, I'm there?
What's ironic about it, in Brownsville, Texas, 93% of my clients are Hispanic.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I did not primarily serve Filipinos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these are Hispanic community because um, we're close to the border.
Sure.
But then a lot of virtual clients we have are doctors, dentists, nurses from different states. Most of them are Filipinos in the healthcare. But then we have a diverse clients from white, Hispanic,
Mm-hmm.
Asian,
Mm-hmm.
and now here in Dallas, I moved just 6 months ago. We have also a black community, so
Yeah,
we're
I'm
not selective. Hmm.
definitely seeing that. And so was it? That's, I mean, it takes, like you said, it's about 93% Hispanics down there, and especially with you. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of a language barrier, language gap, and also, you know, as far as interest in starting specific types of businesses, are you more across the board, or did across the board in whatever business? Did you feel like you offered something to them for whatever business they're starting, or is it more like, well, it has to be kind of this specific space that you're looking for?
At first, I'm more like a generalist
Mm-hmm.
in terms of starting a business, whoever, because we have a online presence. When they book a free
Mm.
30-minute consultation, we provide that. But then as we go further after COVID situation, 2020, I started to pick more on service industry that they don't have products. We don't say no with products, but we prefer to have service industry, like we're talking about digital marketing company,
Okay.
people that have high income profession like doctors, IT services, financial services, mainly because we don't the problem with the accounting about the inventory. One thing that we're telling to our clients that have products, they need to have a good inventory system
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna help us to track their costs, they track their assets, and also the cost of sales. So those are just the things we preferred more in the service.
Okay. So nurse, accounting, and now just business development. Was that just learned throughout, or did you do additional? Or did you do additional schooling for that, or was it just the mentorship that you were provided during that time along the way? I mean, some people just get it. Some people can take a look at a situation. 'Cause like for myself, I'm a business
Mhm.
solutions analyst. I can take a look at just a bigger scale and that's a smaller scale, and I can tell you how to get through that. That wasn't anything that I went to school for. Is that
Mhm.
something similar to you, to where you just took a look at it and you're just like, you know what? You started seeing kind of just the trees that grew out of just a small nut.
It's a combination of both because I'm also licensed for life and health. I got that license, life and
Okay.
health insurance, to enable to offer financial services.
Mm-hmm.
Also an IRS acceptance agent. We did the forensic training. Then we also, of course, our certification to become a tax professional that has been there since 2011. But then I think more of this, what I was telling to make whenever I do conduct trainings, running a business, it's like riding a bike. If you keep reading the manual, you will never learn how to ride the bike. So that's the reason why when you engage with the community and then attend all these power mixers, business
Mm-hmm.
networking,
Mm-hmm.
you would started to learn and then get some mentors from there. But then again, you have to roll up your sleeves and dig to your business. Either where we are wearing different hats. We could be a marketer of the company, you could be in operations, HR, even we learn IT on top of client management. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what we did. Then there are some fast track business training that the government offer, and even the city, that's the Small Business Administration. It's a 6-month training that they've been offering almost every other year. So we've been part of those training. That's why
Wow.
we get certifications. So that's why it's a lifelong learning process with combination of both.
I'm just blown away. And then we haven't even touched on, and you mentioned it very quickly there. You are now, I mean, you're, how I was introduced to you is that, literally the words were, it's like he can get in rooms that many people can't, and they're trying to figure out how he even got in there. And so you're
Uh,
actually even, you are, I guess, just the other side of things outside of the business, and it also ties into the business. You put on a lot of mixers, you put a lot of shows and
mm.
organized events. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, when the social media is a big platform, especially
Oh yeah.
during COVID, when they started to notice your natural ability to talk. Then I was invited 2022 in Rotary. I became because I usually go to the Philippines once a year,
Mhm.
and then I started to be. I'm actually, Raymond, surprised when I get in there, because there you met with the ambassadors, you had a meeting with the president of the Philippines. It's just like out of nowhere that you get invited with those events. The trade mission, some of launching of the magazines, and in Manila, there are socialites that, let's say, you cannot easily go to those kind of
Yeah.
events, because these are where the senators are, the ambassadors are, and then we were able to host some of those events. But it's merely very important is your natural you. Since
Mhm.
I was talking to people already when I was 14 years old, I don't I love to know people. I love to talk, to hear more about their story. I always use the 80-20 rule: 80% active listening to the person, and then 20% of pitching in what you do, or
Mhm.
might be even less, because that's how we able to get through there. And then of course, I think there's a factor also that becoming an entrepreneur from the US, and then you're having those uh, trip to the Philippines. We're promoting employment to the Filipino community. That's why all these private events, exclusive events, we got invited to. Even the top notch, even those people that are millionaires that I was just seeing them on the television when I was in the
Mhm.
Philippines,
Mhm.
but now I'm sitting next to them, right? But then we are humble enough really to encourage everybody that we always have that certain gift. So now when I get back to the US, here, specifically here in Dallas, I've also been part of a lot of nonprofit organizations that we need to be involved. People that are collecting arts, wines, people that are fundraising for, especially the PACE, the Filipino American community. So that's the reason why, people follow people, and because it's just by my nature, Raymond. I found that kind of self-esteem. I developed my self-esteem
Yeah.
and confidence by talking to people through continuous rejection until now.
Yeah.
It's just so easy for me to get rejected and then bounce back.
I
The
gotta
way-
tell you, I mean, you and I have a very similar background as far as sales, and I definitely, business solutions development and business solutions um, and analysis wasn't what I went to school for.
Mm,
But I did sell for, I want to say, about like 10, 11 years, and it was car sales. But then in those particular situations, it's just you're dealing with somebody that right away, immediately doesn't want to talk to you. So, like you said, you have to get past that and build rapport, and then get past the no's until you get a yes. And if you don't get to the yes, at least you've kind of put yourself out there. But many times there's still a lot of feelings of intimidation, and with yourself, it doesn't sound like, or you can correct me here, when you're in these rooms, has there been a room to where you're invited in, or a group of people that you invited in, and you're like, you know what, this is either a lot of money, or a lot of fame, or a lot of just higher end, or people that I've never dealt with before. Has there been intimidation there, at least on your from your end?
The most common, well, the most recent was the car collectors. They have exotic cars from
Okay, okay.
Rolls Royce. I don't even know how to spell those
Yeah.
cars, but they
So yeah, okay. To quickly, it's like, you walk into a room, and I don't know how much you know about vehicles. I've been in many situations and conversations where I don't know nothing about it. So obviously, you walk in there and you're like, I don't. This is very intimidating to me. How do you handle that?
So the first thing is I do focus on frog. There's an art of communication where you start. First thing that I went through is they have their own organization, is knowing the advocacy of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Then people that are there, actually they don't come there to brag. They come there to have a social contribution to the society. So that's why knowing the advocacy of the organization is one thing before you go there, because they're not going to talk about how expensive the cars are. They're going to talk about where the proceeds are going to go through, either multiple sclerosis foundation, or for the
Mm-hmm.
kids, or world hunger. So that is one thing that they're more concerned to talk about, more than what they have. So usually I use the this is one trick that I can really share to everybody, is just to focus on FROG, the frog method. So if
Mm-hmm.
you, let's say you don't know about the advocacy, just talk about letter, F stands for the family, R is recreation, O is occupation, or yeah, occupation, and G is for the goals.
Okay.
So when I talk to someone, I usually go to the organizer, and then you thank them. Thank you for organizing this event, right? So, and then if you don't know the advocacy, by the way, what's the overall advocacy and how long have you been running the organization? So it's a good start. And then from there, eventually they just those cars. It's just like more like the accessory of the event. They're not
Sure.
really the well. When people talk about cars, I have friends that they do know about cars, but then again, this type of people, they're willing to support other nonprofit organization,
Yeah.
and I pitch them in, whether it's the PACE community, whether it's the mental health symposium. So we have that other nonprofit organization that we support, and then you can find common denominator. Then that's the time they will ask you what you do, and that's the time you can pitch in. So it's just like more listening, and then go to the flow. And I think they don't want to be technical about things that they have. They just want to be there to give back to the community, because what matters to us doesn't really matter to them, like the material
Mm-hmm.
stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
they've been there, done that, write a book and made a movie about it. They don't
Yeah.
really, they can care less, because that's always but what they've been doing for the past 10, 15 years of their existence.
Amazing.
Mhm.
So from Brownsville, Cali, back and forth, as far as like just the business, talking to the business and actually networking out there, was it, at least in Brownsville, I'm intrigued by just how you were able to elevate yourself in that, in that particular space, just because, you're I don't know how many Filipinos or how many Asians are really down there, but then you're just this one of a kind, almost in that area where you almost have to just step outside of your own personal, culture, and just kind of assimilate. um is there a difference that you're seeing now through your transitions, as far as the each of the particular areas, as far as just the business people mindset, like California, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and Brownsville?
Yeah, number one is the number of Asian, specifically for Filipino. There's only less than 1% Asian there, and that 1% is being divided by other
In
Asian.
Brownsville. In
Yeah,
Brownsville. Okay.
in Brownsville. Then I think when you're running a business, the business support is only one factor, but you also need to have a social support where you can do karaoke with other Filipinos, or you can also have a spiritual support where you can go to churches or a different denomination. And then also you could those kind and then your family and friends, or you so-called family like friends, should also be there. Balance is very important, Raymond,
Hmm.
on running a business, because we are for me, I'm a social butterfly. I'm really extrovert.
I've noticed. You guys
Yeah.
should check out his Instagram. Start following him. I'll go ahead and post this over here. It's fun. It's you're definitely putting yourself out there. Not necessarily as like, hey, look at me, but it's like, hey, come join me type of a, it's that's type of an Instagram account.
Yes, and we also that's one thing that I've noticed in California and Dallas. I mean, these are you can network. I'm a night person. I can network until 12 midnight or 1 a.m. talking about stuff, right? So the Dallas, what it has offered in California, they have different organizations, from art collectors, car collectors, $1 million listing of houses, private chartered planes. So there's just so much that you could go to, and I considered it as my playground. Being out in my house or in the place where I sleep, this is my big playground. I'm just a kid who's trying to explore it more and more. But I also make sure that there are the two things, the places and the people. I need to make sure that these are quality people that I would learn and then grow, because I know that there we always have room for improvement in running the
Mhm.
business, in having different perspective about life, how we handle stresses by learning to other people, whenever you do networking with them.
Mhm. And you are certainly taking, I don't want to say taking yourself further from the Filipino community, but then still having an anchor there. I'm seeing just the crowds and the events that you're throwing. It's such a diverse audience. How much do you feel you've changed? Like within, I mean, like I said, 2022, huge year. Last
Mhm.
year, I'm sure that was kind of just the development of this social aspect of things, and now here you are, 24. How much are you changing here?
Yeah, the I have, because this is if you really want to grow, you need to be playing in a different battleground. So, for example, if you keep searching for Filipinos, and I have nothing against about getting Filipino clients, they would have you have more competition. If I would be offering like accounting services, and then you have manpower from the Philippines, the Filipino that you're gonna talk to as a client, they also know people from the Philippines who can offer the same thing that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one that I'm marketing myself are the people that don't have no idea, never been to the Philippines, or never
Mm-hmm.
have no idea how offshore accounting works. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't get me wrong, I also would like to put the Filipino advocacy like the pace. If they want to, I'm still aligned their goal to have a community center, because
Absolutely,
Houston
absolutely.
has one. Hmm.
You're a great ambassador of just the culture itself, mainly because I mean I've said it before in other pods and other interviews that I've had. I think one of our greatest strengths as you know, people from the Philippines, it's our ability to assimilate as and just to take on new things. Um, but at the same time, as much as you take yourself further, you know, from just, you know, just further from the community as far as your working space and the folks that you're dealing with, there's still that anchor. And you, I mean, the fact that you've been here for a year, a little
Six
over
months.
six
That's 6
months,
months.
6 months here. You've already anchored yourself to a newer group with Pace and all the other. I guess there's a bunch of other
More
groups
than,
over
yeah,
it.
20 business or business and nonprofit organizations we are
That's
immersed.
Yeah, so you do your thing that makes the most sense, and from, I mean, you know the space the best, and so you do. I mean, you're out there, you putting on the events and everything like that. And I, you know, again, I'll let me know. You know, I know you sent me an email or anything like that, or an event bright to the next event and everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Keep inviting me. I'm gonna eventually show up, but you know, it's just been very tough lately. But
Hmm.
I want to make sure everybody else over here knows what, you know, what you're all about, and know where to find you. Um, I want to be very sensitive of your time. I know you've got a few things going on here. I'm pretty sure right after we hop off this, there's a few more things that you got there. Um, Going back to the Filipino community and just in generality in the U.S. I know there's still some folks coming over from the PI, and they're looking to, you know, we've always got that entrepreneurship. There's that grain of instilled in us. What would be your, I mean, I don't want you to unpack everything, you know, your little tools and your toolkit here, but what would be your initial advice from them if they're listening here?
Well, if they're starting here to be an employee and they want to have the to become an entrepreneur, because it's all about finding the right people. The first thing I'm telling them is stop watching telenovelas, stop watching those TV shows. Yeah, we have to be practical, and also you have to stop watching news, right? So there are so many things you can do on your comfort of your own home, because
Hmm.
these are the things that could hinder you or stop you from having breakthroughs to
Oh yeah.
become entrepreneur. So that's why. And then if they're working 40 hours per week, they need to start listening to podcasts, YouTube about business, how to run business in the US. Everything is accessible right now, and that's why Tony Robbins said it's not about lacking the time, it's not about lacking the resources, but it's all about a lot of people is lacking resourceful. And
Hmm.
through there, find a mentor, It could be in like a virtual mentor, and then like organization that you could start. There are business organizations everywhere, and there most of them are free, offering free certification how to start a business in Dallas. Economic Development Corporation is one. We also have the Chamber of Commerce, and the third one is Small Business Administration. And then you can multiply from there, but it all start from removing the basic things that you don't need, those watching telenovelas
Yeah, I mean,
and and
if
news.
you're definitely transforming yourself, I mean, that's I think that's great advice. I never even thought about that. Like, stop watching those things, and keep connecting yourself from what you're used to, and get out of your comfort zone, and move on to the next. Chris, I'm just thoroughly amazed. I know this is just the beginning. I mean, you just, in such a short time, you've built in this particular space. You know, someone else. I don't even know what you're gonna be doing next year. You're probably gonna be doing way more than this. Um, you're a friend of the show. Let us know anytime, you know, there's something that we can support you with. If there's an event, a public event, because I know a lot of your events are a little bit more invitation only, a lot more, exclusive type of thing. But there's a public event that you're pushing. Let us know. Any last, anything else? I mean, you
What
want
I
to?
yeah, I think at the end of I think what I'd like to leave to everyone, I think the value of life is not about the money that you're making, but it's how much value you add to somebody else's. It doesn't mean monetary, it doesn't mean financial, it could be sometimes spiritual, it could be sometimes wisdom, or being just a listener to people, and that makes a big difference, because we'll never know. And sometimes health, the physical health, they remind everybody to do their annual checkup, because I bump to a lot of clients that are healthy before last year, and then right now they have stage 4 cancer. So that's why, Raymond, it's very important to have that overall perspective about life, and money is not just everything. It's more than that. Relationship is very important.
Very true. Very true. I mean, that just brings it back together. You know, it's with you being a nurse.
Oh yeah. Oh,
With
yeah.
you being a nurse, we started here, then we brought it back in. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris, congratulations. And congratulations to whatever's going to be up next. I'm sure we'll cross paths again very soon here. I want to say again, thank you so much for even joining me for this, this short amount of time. We'll link up soon.
Thank you, Raymond, and
All
good
right.
luck to your show.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time.